Engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 4228 relating to transportation network companies. Third reading of the bill.
Question on passage of the bill, Senator from Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee substitute for House Bill 4228 authorizes and regulates transportation network companies. The members will remember we did this last year, not once, but twice, I think, on the floor of the Senate, and the bill failed at the end of the session. This is a similar bill, not identical, but at its essence, it defines a transportation network company as a corporation, partnership, or proprietorship or other entity licensed under the article and operating in West Virginia that uses a digital network to connect company riders to transportation network company drivers who provide prearranged rides. A TNC company does not control, direct, or manage personal vehicles or transportation network company drivers to the extent to its digital network except where agreed to by a written contract. A TNC driver is defined as an individual who receives connections to potential passengers and related services from a transportation network company in exchange for payment of a fee to the TNC. And B, uses a personal vehicle to offer or provide prearranged rides to riders upon connection through the digital network controlled by the transportation network company in exchange for the fee. A TNC and its drivers are not common carriers under the article. They're defined as otherwise. The provisions of the bill include requirements that a TNC, including operate as a TNC with a permit issued by the Division of Motor Vehicles. So the regulation and control of this is housed within the DMV. Provisions governing fares that may be charged for providing services to riders, the availability of identification of drivers, motor vehicle liability insurance requirements are included in the bill. Insurance must be maintained by the driver or the TNC on the driver's behalf. Minimum insurance coverages are established in the legislation with respect to a person's insurance policy, and insurance companies authorized to exclude coverages for activities performed as driver for a TNC. Conditions upon which a driver is deemed to be an independent contractor rather than an employee of a TNC, and if those conditions are met, providing that the TNC is not required to provide workers' compensation coverage for network drivers. There are requirements and qualifications for drivers, background checks. There are requirements and inspections of drivers' vehicles. There are prohibitions in the bill for street hails. And there are prohibitions on cash payments. This is the Uber bill, Mr. President, and I'll be happy to try to answer questions. Otherwise, I urge its passage.
Questions on passage of the bill. Is there discussion? Senior Senator from the 8th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just rise in support of this piece of legislation. Representing Charleston, West Virginia, having been a student at WVU and up at Morgantown, I can tell you there's a great need for more options for individuals, whether it be somebody that's going out and is enjoying time with friends and needs a safe ride home. This will give them more access to that. This could prevent injuries, can prevent drunk driving. It could create more opportunities for people to get to where they need to go safely. And I think that's a real concern we have in West Virginia, and that's something that this bill here attempts to try to fix. We have a lot of different events here in the Charleston, West Virginia at our great civic center where thousands of people come into the city. And one of the biggest complaints I hear is not being able to get around, not being able to take taxis or to have Uber, to have Lyft, to get them from one area of the city to another, to try to really explore and understand our city even more. This opens up that door, Mr. President. It creates more competition. And anytime we have more competition, we have more options for our citizens, we create more reliability. So I strongly urge the passing of this bill. Thank you, Mr. President.
Further discussion? If not, the question for the Senate, shall the bill pass? All those in favor vote yea, those opposed vote nay. The clerk prepare the machine. As every member voted, if so, the clerk close the machine, ascertain results on this question. 34 yeas, 0 nays, 0 absent, not voting more than the majority of those present. Voting having voted in the affirmative, declare the bill passed.